It would have been kind of funny if it weren't so insulting. This all went down when I was still young in my first serious relationship, the kind that was almost headed down the aisle. We were fresh out of our first year in college when I met Amelia. We ended up in neighboring dorm rooms, and that's when things started to really click between us. Amelia caught my eye right away. This wide grin, a killer figure, and this wild shock of red hair, all curly and untamed. After we wrapped up our first year, we decided it was time to take the next step. No more hanging out in each other's rooms, annoying the neighbors with the constant back and forth. We were moving in together. Amelia's parents didn't exactly throw a party when they heard the news. Her father, in his usual manner, handed me a bottle of whiskey and then disappeared, going on another binge. My parents, well, they definitely weren't thrilled either, but we made a deal. My father agreed to cover our living expenses on 2 conditions. No kids until college was over, and I had to find a job. So I got a job as a night security guard at a local supermarket. Everything seemed to be getting better, except that Amelia's parents continued to ask many questions about her honesty. But one day, everything changed when my boss called and asked me to take the day off. When Amelia heard that I would be gone for the whole day, she decided that now would be a good time to visit her parents. It was just before the weekend, and she decided that she would have the advantage. So I was pretty stoked, thinking I could catch up on some much-needed sleep. The shift had been rough, and on top of that, Amelia's phone wasn't picking up. I didn't even notice her travel bag in the hallway until I was out in the yard at 2 a.m., dealing with some noisy kids blasting music from their car. Despite my fatigue, I went outside, and here it is, a tinted car blaring music. The driver's seat was empty, but there was definitely some rustling coming from the back seat. At first, I knocked lightly on the window, but nothing happened, so I knocked again, a little harder this time. The window creaked slowly down, and I was ready to break the law, listen to the music, just not at this hour. But what I saw next left me totally speechless. There was my classmate Luke just staring at me, blinking like he couldn't believe his eyes. And behind him, there was Amelia, frozen in place, looking like a deer caught in headlights. Her hair was all over the place, and her legs were wide open. The moment hit me like a truck. I don't remember in detail what happened next, but I know that something primal came over me. I opened the car door and pulled Luke out of the back seat. The girl screamed something, but I didn't care. I was already in the attack zone and started throwing punches, hitting him right in the face while he crouched down to defend himself. Leaving the whimpering guy crumpled on the ground, I turned back to Amelia. She'd already managed to put her panties back on and was striking some defensive pose. "Don't come any closer," she shouted, waving a wooden stick around like she was ready to fight. "Let's talk this through in the apartment," I said, raising my hands in a calm, non-threatening gesture as I took a step forward. "I'm not going," she snapped back at me. "All right," I replied, rolling with it, and before she could put up any more resistance, I picked her up and tossed her over my shoulder. I wasn't going to waste any more time. I dropped her like a sack of potatoes in the hallway when we got home and went straight into the kitchen. A few minutes later, we were sitting across from each other. "You've got it all wrong," she said, her breath smelling like alcohol as she tried to explain her betrayal. "It wasn't like that. We were at this barbecue, remember? You were invited too, but you didn't want to go." She trailed off, and I could tell she was getting nervous. Luke had apparently come to pick her up himself, and then she went quiet. We had a few drinks, and I don't know how it happened. He started bothering me, and I just passed out on the way home, she said. But then she held out her arms to me as if I was supposed to believe any of it. And then she said something that honestly made my stomach churn. "You saved me," she whispered. "Wait, what?" I asked, trying to process it. "Yeah, I was the one who woke up when you knocked on the window," she said, almost too calmly. "And then Luke." I resisted, but he. The music from outside had long since died down, and Luke was probably somewhere nursing his bruised face, completely unaware that Amelia had just accused him of almost raping her. I felt nauseous. Amelia kept rambling on, adding new details, making up more excuses. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I slammed my fist on the table so hard that the sugar bowl bounced. and she finally shut up for a second. Then she broke down crying. I couldn't do this. I got up and walked out, leaving her there in the kitchen, surrounded by her mess, her lies, and her drama. After that night, we barely spoke. It didn't take long for Amelia to drop out of college and go back to her parents. Word on the street was that she even got married. As for me, well, I went through a couple more serious relationships but never ended up tying the knot.